Hey there, naturals and relaxed naturals. Part two, which of what I expect to only be two parts because the last video was 10 minutes. Hopefully, you watched that. It'll also be created as a blog post by one of Team Natriotic Princesses. So I'm AhavaFelicidad hair and body, in case you did miss the first one, and talked about being at Afrolicious just a tad, my hair being out, and what I plan to do with my hair when I'm usually wig wearing. So in the last video, we did some measurements to see where I'm at on my extensions journey, and this part of my extensions journey right now is actually wearing my hair out. So my hair is out, just probably for a few days, maybe. So we did Sunday, maybe about 3 or 4 days possible. What I'm going to do today is just really simple Afro puffs, ponytails. I haven't worn them in a long time. Now what you can see here is just my hair out and stretched. I am a kinky curly. So it's out and stretched from one, having unbraided 2 cornrows. So I had several cornrows. They were washed, sugar scrubbed, taken out. 2 cornrows were in, and I was wearing those underneath one of my wigs. I took those cornrows out in order to do an updo style for Afrolicious that was in Brooklyn yesterday, which was July 30th. Now, what I've done is taken the updo out. I have some hairpins, not bobbies, but hairpins. Bobby pins are flat, that I'm going to use for lifting and tucking ends instead of using gel or a whole bunch of styling cream. I'm just going to let it be like the natural puff out of my hair, and I call it a puff out, not just a fro, because I didn't blow it into an afro. One easy thing you can do if your hair is nice and detangled and it's stretched from not being blown out, but just because if it was braided and then you did an updo, some of our hair will just have its fluffiness. So you see my hands rolling. This is how we do the French rolls. So you just tuck here. This is not what I'm going to wear. I'm just showing you how to do the basic French roll tuck if you had a part. And you take your hairpins. Now for this, you would actually also use some bobby pins. They're flatter. They'll hold the style in a few areas, but the lift that you get here is very helpful. Excuse the timer's going off, keeping me on schedule, for keeping your roll tight. So you can see that, or hopefully you can see that roll. And then if you're going to wear your afro out in the front, here is where you would actually take a clip or a bobby pin, and those are those really cool French roll looks. And then you have your afro out in the front, or your 2 strands or 3 strands, which we do here, and you take those out. So that's one thing. I'm not going to wear that today because my hair is out. I really do not want to feel it that tight to my scalp today. Just for some reason, my scalp feels maybe just everything a little bit more sensitive. It could be from hot yoga. So I'm going to do two buns. So I have my ouchless band. Ouchless meaning no metal pieces. They are still being made, so I have to still say that not only to my adult naturals, but my naturals who are adults with children, just to be aware when you go into the stores to buy these that you're not picking up the ones with the metal band, because companies are still making them with the metal band. If they're on extension hair, that's fine. It's not touching your hair, but you don't want those metal pieces pulling your hair out bit by bit. It's also important not to wrap these more times than necessary. Because of the look I'm going for, very simple and loose with the puffs, I'm only going to wrap this around maybe 3 or 4 times, maximum 5. So I'm going to decide which area I want my puff to be, and I am working through with my fingers and opening up, giving some space. So I'm not going to do that pulling thing that is done sometimes when you're putting in a ponytail, and then you put the ponytail in, and then you do a lot of pulling in the middle. If I organize it the way I need to, and I do this to stretch it out, it'll already be pretty much where I want it to be. and I'll have enough length. And I'm working off of just like 2 days ago of oil moisture in my hair. So I want my puff right about here. I would say it's right over my ear. And I should actually use 2 of these bands, but I'm gonna stick with the one. That's 1 wrap around, that's 2 wrap around, that's 3 wrapped around, and 4. This is where I wanna be, right here. Okay, now there's my first puff. I do an angle part. I'm not really big on middle parts for myself. You wanna make sure that you look at your hairline, know your hairline and your aesthetic. I can do a middle part. It's just that it's not one of my favorite parts to make. So now I'm doing a little bit more stretching here, and I'm going to go again over my ear. And I go out sometimes, and I could be talking to people. Even recently I was in a meeting. Oh, sorry. Even recently I was in a meeting, and someone says, oh, and my daughters are in college, like your age. And I'm laughing because my age is actually 20 years older than those daughters in college. It's important to stay as healthy and well as you can. Okay, so right about here, and I was just saying that because this is a look that's a younger look. 1, 2, 3. You would not wear this into a corporate meeting. There's a way to wear it, but not in the Afro puffs. So we also do workshops and seminars on, workplace wearing, how to wear your hair for interviews. When you're natural, that's really needed. A lot of naturals will feel they have to blow their hair out straight, especially in certain industries and corporate. They feel they have to blow their hair out straight. Now, right here, you can see that there's a puff. There's puffiness here. What I'm going to do here is take my straight hair pin and go in, lift, and insert. I'm going to do that again. You see that line that it created? I'm going to go in here, lift, and push this hairpin in. What this does for me is create smoothing without product, not having to use gel, and just gives this front area a more crisp look. And it almost looks like you can make it look like you've done a French roll here, and you didn't. It's just from the hairpins. You see that? Right in there, and then that just brought everything together, so that whole puff is no longer there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. It's a little bit more challenging for me to reach on this side. I should just do this with my left hand, but I am using my left to smooth while I lift and insert with my right. And I'm creating a similar look on this side. Some of you may still want to use some type of gel or pomade. My recommendations that are natural are Dr. Natural's Superior Locking Gel. That's a really nice one. Now that one's gonna work better for you soft wavies. Kinky curly, you can definitely try the Joy Gel, Joie. It will hold stronger than the African formula, which is just like a softer gel that I found a lot of my clients have made comments on liking that for doing their 2 strands. It's amazing, just little bits of it in your fingers, the African formula. Then there's the Curl Control Paste. I like that product a lot, and many of my clients and customers who've had that as a recommendation in their consults like using that gel for the edges. I am not recommending Eco Styler. And I will repeat, I do not recommend Eco Styler. I've had clients come in who've lost hair, and the only one thing on their hairline, and the one thing that they did differently or added to their regimen was use of that product. Oh, even the olive oil one? Yes. It's everyone's different, everyone's body's different, their hair texture, density, type. You can put 10 women in a room and they all use it the same way. Woman number 10 could lose her edges in a week. Woman number 7 may not experience any loss using it in the same way, in the same frequency for 6 months. Another may go 7 weeks. But I have, had a lot of feedback on that, and it is not one of the gel recommendations. So I did want to make that clear, because I'll tell you that in a consultation. So now I have my puffs and I'm ready to go. I did a nice part. I've been doing my own hair since I was 5. For other people since the age of 12, with all the certifications and trainings and things that are just inherent, like that I just know about hair. 100 techniques. Some of them are on eHow, so you can check out the eHow videos. We have a curly hair model for the eHow. Different techniques on like bobby pin rolling, rolling on different rods, headband technique. There's a video on that, thanks to Cameron. Cameron was here for tips for tresses, so we have a great video showing you the headband technique. You want to learn it up close and personal, call in 973-619-2855 or 201-921-9894, and I'm happy with my Afro puffs, and I'll be leaving soon for all the rest of the day and phone calls. So yes, people, I will be calling you. I know you're on the list, you're waiting to hear from me. 973-619-2855 or 201-921-9894. AhavaFelicidad.wordpress.com. We are always recruiting and liking to bring in compliments, alliances, affiliates, so you can reach out to us about that as well. Go natural.